Hello and welcome to Jedi and the Mailman, show where two old friends aim to deliver the best Star Wars talk in the galaxy. I'm Mike the Mailman. That's Jimmy the Jedi. If you're looking for a boring social media experience, follow us. But if you're looking for the absolute best in all of your Star Wars information, entertainment, etc., check out Explore the Force on all the socials and listen to their latest podcast. This week, Jimmy and Jack get into a discussion about the lore of the dark side with a very special guest, Mark Thompson. And if you're asking yourself, that Mark Thompson? Yes, the voice of Star Wars audio, Mark Thompson. It's phenomenal.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he's he only did because last time we had him on here, the first time we had him on,
Mhm.
it was all about his career and things like that. We talked to him, and apparently he had enough fun with us to come back and mostly talk. I mean, he had some amazing stories about getting to meet Lars Mikkelsen and Timothy
Yeah.
Zahn, who were all brought Thrawn together. I think they said two Thrawns in his on.
Mhm.
And he's just such a nice guy. He's got like this infectious energy. You can see it in all of his posts. And we love having him on the show. I hope it's not, the last time we have him on. He's got some cool stuff coming down the road. He likes talking Star Wars. And yeah, he's just, and at the end, he does his Vader.
Mm.
And we're Jack and I was like, oh, I got to follow that. Like, yeah. But terrific
Yeah,
dude.
I was about to say, I mean, if I'm sure most people on here, if there is anybody on here, they'll listen into the podcast, I'm sure. And y'all know that they always end the Explore the Force with the quote, go around and Mark just knocked it out of the park. Not only did he give a quote, he gave that quote in the voice of Darth Vader. Just phenomenal.
It's like his whole personality changes.
Yeah. He
Has
just
this.
inhabits.
Yes, it's
Mhm.
he is gifted. He's gotten the first time we had him on, he hadn't really been doing cons and stuff, and now he's really kind of picked that up. And I think that you know, not that he shouldn't already be super popular and things like that, because I mean he does so many voices. He's not just Star Wars, he's
Mhm.
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, and he's in Pokemon, he's all these stuff. I mean, people know him for all kinds of things. He's just a good dude. But yeah,
Mhm.
he knocked that out of the park. Or we caught us completely off guard with it.
Yeah.
Uh, and just super talented. It's crazy how he can just slip into that because his voice, it's like he's got this commanding voice in the first place, and then he can just. I mean, it's like he had a voice modifier or something, but he
Yeah.
doesn't. He sits there, and
Yeah.
I mean, it's.
He's just suddenly someone else.
Yeah, he just did it with Yoda last time. I mean, he just slips in and out of it like it's nothing. It's impressive, and that's why I mean he's a professional and
Mhm.
he does what he does. He brings most of the Star Wars adult books, especially in the High Republic, to life. And he also he's been redoing a ton of the Legend stuff. There was all
Mhm.
abridged before for some reason. He says he wasn't sure why that was, but they're doing unabridged version, so it's the full book. And you get all the sound effects and special effects. I mean,
Mhm.
listening to a Star Wars audio book is an experience.
Yeah, for sure.
There's not many other like it. You sit there and listen to another audio book, and you're just like, oh,
Mhm.
okay, because there's
Yeah.
no. But yeah, it was a lot of fun. I'm really glad he came on. It was a fun topic.
Yeah. There was, I mean, it was a great conversation. All in all. But one thing that struck me is you guys were talking about going to Japan, and Mark had mentioned that he and his wife were going to go to Japan with for a celebration, kind of, and to celebrate his 25th wedding anniversary. He said, but he has to go to Japan for something else, and he said he couldn't afford to go to Japan twice in the same year. And it goes. I mean, he's just a working stiff like you and me, but it's weird to see that from someone that you know you've experienced on all those books and everything. You think of him as such a top tier person, like so famous, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
And to know that, yeah, he's just like you and me. He has to go to work every day and put food on the table. He's not some, you may think that he's this amazing guy, but he's just the dude. Like,
he's a pretty cool guy. But I would love to. I haven't talked to him yet about it, but I'm hoping he's going to go to Rebel Scum Con next year. Now that he lives
yeah,
down in Texas, that maybe he will go to the Rebel Scum Con, I get to meet him in person, will be
Yeah.
phenomenal. Yeah, and I'm surprised that with his popularity, because he really has kind of, I mean, he's kind of come at it from, he's like just jumped from the pages of all the books. And with as big as the High Republic has been
Mhm.
at the celebrations the last 2 years, and imagine how big it's going to be this year, because I mean it's going to end basically
Yeah.
right around that time period. I think I'm a little hazy on the timeline, but I'm shocked that they're not
Yeah, they're not
crossing
bringing him in,
over
you
for
know?
that. Yeah,
Yeah.
I feel like yeah, Rebel Scum Con. Yeah, I really want
Mhm.
Mark to come there, so I can get to meet him. And that's as
Well, let's
selfish.
hope he doesn't burn himself out on cons this year, because like you said,
Yeah,
you
he's
guys had a
busy.
heck of a time booking him
Whoa.
because he was so busy.
Yeah, if you follow him on Instagram or Facebook, he is just, I mean, it's like every weekend. We were supposed to have him one weekend, he got a con, and then I mean, this is like, and then that's the thing too, is like we said we know how busy he is. I mean, this is like the one weekend he had off, and he graciously joined
Yeah.
us, with his
Yeah.
own time. We don't pay our guests or anything like that. They just come on because I like to
And he
talk
wasn't
Star
even plugging
Wars.
anything. He just came
No,
to, yeah, it
yeah, he just
was
came to
great.
talk. And also, the story you brought up, he and his wife were planning on go Star Wars Celebration. So that tells you, I mean, he's a massive
Hmm.
Star Wars fan
Oh
on top
yeah.
of it. So,
Yeah.
and he cosplays, and I think he's part of the Rebel Legion. I know he always has a Jedi. So that was why that conversation was so much fun with him. But
Yeah.
yeah, so awesome. It was a lot of fun talking to him. Hopefully, I'll get the chance to sit down and listen to it, because I don't always get a chance to listen to the
Yeah.
conversations. I'm always editing and things like that.
Mhm.
So, um, but what's we got? At ICC, I was in the elevator with him, just thanked him for bringing so many voices to the fandom. Yeah, and he was probably super gracious, right, TR? And just like, he's just so bubbly and fun. Like his laugh just makes me want to laugh every time he laughs.
Mhm.
So he has a Facebook thing out right now where he's doing this Christmas album and all the voices, and it's
Oh
just, I mean,
yeah.
he's just so creative too. So I guess I know this episode's not a love letter to Mark Thompson, but
Well,
um, yeah, he's
how can you
awesome.
not?
Can't say
How
enough
can you
good
not throw a
things.
little love his way?
Yeah, yeah, yes, he was super humble and kind. Yeah, he's great. Just again, I hope they get the opportunity to meet him someday. I'm sure we will. Um, I'll find you, Mark. um, but I'm really hoping like that Rebel Scum Con will connect up, and it'll be good.
Yeah.
Good place to meet up. So
Yeah.
yeah, but what we got what do we got cooking?
Well, so there's been a lot of talk,
There
lately.
has.
A lot of news coming out of Disney and whatnot with hiring a new person to write the trilogy and
Yeah.
delaying the next movie and this and that, and just a lot of noise out there. So it seems like, in my opinion, Disney seems to be flailing a bit. They can't quite get their footing. They don't know where they're going. They don't know what they're doing. So I figured, maybe today we'll talk a little bit about what's going on and maybe offer Disney a little bit of help. Maybe they can watch the podcast and hear some of our ideas and get this movie rolling,
Know
man.
exactly what not to do.
Yes.
um, I'm gonna out Mike here for a second. When we were kids, Mike and I, we both wrote extensively. Like, I think we both read a lot more than most kids our age,
Yeah.
and we both wrote a ton. Now, I wrote more later in life. Mike wrote an
Mhm.
absolute. I mean, how many that
Oh,
series,
yeah.
that crazy series, like the Jean Claude Van Damme
Yeah,
s
sort of.
Rambo
Mhm.
adventure that you wrote. I mean, that thing, you'd go in there like, Mike, let's go. And he'd be like, oh, I got to finish this chapter real quick, And you still have those?
Oh, somewhere, yeah. I mean, I
Oh,
I
man,
don't didn't throw any of that stuff away. It's all in a box under my house somewhere, but yeah,
nice.
I mean, a lot of the a lot of my teachers thought I was being very studious, taking notes, but I was really just ignoring everything else that was going on and just letting my creative juices flow.
So watch out, Disney. We got some experience here. But
Well,
uh,
unfortunately, John Claude Van Damme's too old to factor into any of my new ideas, so
surely is. Tahu says your hard work is archived. Yes, it is.
yes,
Yes,
to
it
some
is. I mean,
extent.
to some
I haven't
extent.
gone
It's
back
all
to any of that stuff in a long time. I don't know how bad it might be.
I'll be all right. I
Yeah.
remember finding something I wrote, and I was like,
It can be
oh,
quite cringy, can it?
Yeah, you think you're crushing it as a high schooler, and you
Hmm.
know, but yeah.
Especially
Anyway,
poetry and stuff like that. Like you go back to any poetry you wrote in high school, and it's like, oh my god, what was wrong with
I
that
don't.
guy?
Yeah, I don't know if I've ever done that. I just don't have that kind of. I don't have that kind of like my brain doesn't. I don't feel like it works that way. I guess mine's
Yeah,
more like stuff blowing up, and
yeah,
when I wrote the first two books in our series, it was more like, how would this look in a movie? Now write
yeah,
it, and that's kind
yeah.
of where I can't. I don't know why it is. I just maybe I'm not sure, but so if there's any poetry or prophecies in our trilogy coming up, then you'll be writing them.
Okay.
So, all right, but it's all kind of stemmed too from the Forbes article that came out. Was that last week? And I forwarded it to you.
Yeah. Yep.
And you just give a kind of a recap real quick what that was about.
Yeah. I mean, they're talking about how what does Disney have? They turn into basically turn into Ray to lead the Star Wars movie because everyone else is dead. Like they don't have, if you want nostalgia and you want to connect the movies, I mean, they've killed off everybody. So there's no identifiable characters other than Ray. I mean, maybe you get John Boyega to come back. At first he wasn't going to have it, but it seems like he's probably changed his tune maybe a little
Oh,
bit.
he is not as
Money
famous.
money will do that for you.
Yeah,
And some of the other actors the from those movies, you might be able to get them to come back. But Ray's the big ticket. So
mhm.
um yeah, just talking about how where's Disney going to go? What are they going to do? What what direction are they headed in? And then we have all this other information that's been coming out about Disney just hired, what's the guy's name,
Simon Kinberg.
Kinberg, yeah, to potentially write a trilogy. And you got all the other things that have been in development. And if you take the way it seems is Disney's just confused and flailing and doesn't seem to know what they want to do. Now, with that latest movie being pushed, the December 2026, or is it
Mhm.
2020? Yeah,
Yeah,
that movie
December
being pushed.
2026.
That's, I mean, disappointing to everybody because the only thing we have to look forward to is Mando and Grogu, uh, and then after that, it seems to be a big void. We don't know what's coming, when it's coming, anything like that. So, I mean, what do you think about all that, Jimmy? I mean,
Yeah, I mean, I think they've kind of funny enough, I don't wanna I'm not comparing my stories to Star Wars, okay? But I remember writing this one story, and I got my heroes trapped
mhm.
so well that I could not create a way to get them untrapped, and I just stopped writing it because I was like, and it still bothers me. Like sometimes when I'm
Yeah.
driving back to Pennsylvania from Kansas, I'll start thinking about that book
Mhm.
and the story. I mean, it's probably like 20 pages or whatever. And I'm like, man, I got to figure out a way to, like, I should be as an adult man, if I'm almost 50 years old, I should be able to figure a way out of this scenario. But I Disney kind have put themselves in that trap because not that their fault. I mean, Carrie Fisher dies in the
Mhm.
real world, and plus all those actors are getting up there.
Yeah.
I hate to say that, but Harrison Ford, Mark Hamill,
Mhm.
Billy D. There's not many of the original cast that are, going to be around for another 20 years or anything like that. I hope they are. Like, I hope I'm wrong, but you know what I mean.
Yeah. Yeah. You
So
kinda have to bank on what they
having not
have.
really had a plan. They didn't have a plan, right? So, I
Mhm.
mean, it's obvious. I mean, there's no
Yeah.
getting around that. I mean, J.J. Abrams has even come out and said, yeah, there was no plan.
Mhm.
Uh, that they've kind of written themselves into a hole where they're stuck. They've written themselves in that trap, and I'm hoping that Kinberg and Filoni and Favreau and those guys, they're all much smarter than I am. They figure out a way to. But yeah, right now I think Ray is the character, and
Mhm.
she is divisive as hell, right? Because people love her, people hate her. Uh,
Mhm.
I think the more time we spend with her, the more we'll like her. I mean, you think about, Ahsoka when we first got her and different things like that. But yeah, I think that, you still got Chewie a little bit. I mean, I'm not sure how long Wookiees live, but I mean, he's even getting as a character. I mean, he
Right.
was 190 in the Solo film, and like, um, so what do you do moving forward? And I think you do have to use Ray, and I think that maybe they learned from the mistakes, and because I felt like the old crew should have handed off to the new crew, and it really wasn't that way. It was new
Right.
crew, and the old crew got like sprinkled in there. So maybe they do use Ray, and she can jumpstart the new franchise, or you just had to go in a completely different direction and
Right.
start all over again,
Hmm.
right? I don't, and I'm excited for the Dawn of the Jedi movie.
Yeah.
25,000 years prior to the Phantom Menace or whatever.
But that's nothing to build off of. That's
No,
just
I mean, you're just gonna fill
a
in
Star
gaps
Wars
again.
story. Yeah.
No, because I mean, what's all heading. Like, we don't
Hmm.
know what's next. Like, we
Right.
have the whole Filoni verse, and I think sometimes people forget that.
Hmm.
Filoni is only going to be able to go so far because it's going to run up into the sequels.
Yeah, that's what I was going to
It's
bring up
like,
here is,
boom, like,
you know,
we're done.
yeah, because hiring Kinberg, he was part of Rebels. He's
Yeah,
one of Filoni's guys, and Filoni seems to be, taking a step up within the company. Getting
yeah.
into more of a leadership role.
Yeah.
So
He's
maybe he brought
creative
his
officer.
buddy on. But you're right. The Filoni verse doesn't.
It can't last
They're
forever.
they're in this. Yeah, they're in the same time frame as the original trilogy. So you've got the original trilogy, then you've got the Ray universe. You can't take those even Filoni's characters and move them into, use them as the bridge either because they're from that same time period as Luke,
Yeah.
Leia, and Han.
And I think, realistically, Grogu's the only one who could live long enough.
Right.
I think. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like, I mean, it is what it is. But I mean, I think Grogu's the only one who can really span that. Unless, I mean, all those characters are going to be like, because it's like what, 5 to 7 years, 7 years after Return of the Jedi is when that whole Mandoverse thing is happening right now.
Hmm.
Ahsoka, Mando, Skeleton Crew supposedly is going to be tied into that somehow, which is exciting because we're almost there.
Hmm.
Um, and then, so even like those characters, those adult characters in that, I mean, they're going to be
They'll be
senior
old men and
citizens
women.
by the time.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they're going to be senior citizens and not really. I mean, if you're going to do some kind of slow burn like Game of Thrones, then yeah, that's fine. But that's not really
Mhm.
Star Wars' move.
Yeah.
So, the Skeleton Crew kids, do they come into play? Because they would all be in their 20s, maybe 30s by that point.
Yeah.
Um, you
I'm
know,
sure if this is a smash hit, then they're going to try
yes,
to do something like that. Yeah. But
yeah. But then
yeah,
you
it's
had to
just too
explain
early
where
to
they were
tell.
during the sequels. Like, where were
Yeah.
they? And that's
Yeah.
that's another thing too. You got to explain to where all these, like, where's Ahsoka, where's Sabine, where's Ezra, where's
Hmm.
Thrawn, like, you know, Mando, Grogu, like, where are all these people during the sequel trilogy? Are they all
Hmm.
helping Cal Kestis and Tanalor or whatever? But so, like, there's a
Yeah.
lot of things to figure out, I think, for that. But again, it comes back to that: is Ray's really the character that they got to kind
Hmm.
of rally around? And I'm not opposed to that. Like, I don't.
No.
She's my favorite character, but I mean, I don't hate her. I think she's fine. I think that she got, as an actress, she got better each movie. They got better at writing her. I mean, the disconjointedness of the trilogy didn't help her by any
Yeah.
means. But I felt as a actor, Daisy Ridley got much much better, and she's had success in other films. We know Young Girl in the Sea was amazing. Like, she did a great job in that.
Hmm.
So I think she's ready to be. I mean, not she carried those films, but I think she's ready to be the Luke Skywalker. And the
Yeah.
thing is, too, is like, well, what other choice do we have? Like,
Right.
you want them to be
Right.
successful. It's like, if you didn't vote for the candidate that won, you still need them. You still want to have them be successful. I'll be like asking your cabinet
Absolutely.
trash. You know what I mean? So
Hmm.
you want them to be successful and do good things. Does that happen? Who knows? But yeah, I'm
Yeah.
all in. If it's going to be Ray, let's go for it.
Hmm. And I think part of it comes down to too is we saw this with the prequels. Like when we saw the prequels, they didn't leave us with a good taste in our mouth. We weren't thrilled. It took time for
No,
that to
yeah,
for it to, to come. So we're kind of looking at the sequel movies, and is there enough time between the sequels that these younger kids, the kids 8, 9, 10 years old, who were entranced by that, are they going to be old enough now that putting Ray in a movie and putting um, Finn and Poe back in the movie, maybe are those characters really going to resonate and really jazz that group up, that section of people up to really push this movie forward, because
Yeah,
that's kind of how it goes.
no, that's a good question, and I don't think they are. I don't think
Yeah,
there has been enough time. But I will say this: you go to cons, there are so many young kids dressed up like Rey and things like that.
yeah,
You got little Mando boy. I remember I'm just the last con. I know I always bring up Rebel Scum because it was the last one I was at. But there was a boy who was decked out in some amazing Mando armor. There was little girls dressed up like like Rey. So the love is there.
hmm
But I do think that this trilogy, I know it's Star Wars is for kids or whatever, but I do think that they're going to have to give us a story that's going to appease this audience. Or they could be, I hate to say dead in the water, but they'd have to start all over again. And I do think the setback in December of 2026, it does piss me off because I'm like, if I did my job this way, I'd be fired.
yeah, yeah.
But I don't want them to screw this up. So thank you
hmm
for taking the time, readjusting, and getting it right. But stop announcing stuff until you actually have a
hmm
plan and you're actually going to follow through with it. And that's fair for any fan to say, whether you
Yeah.
love it or hate the Star Wars stuff coming out. That is a fair quote. Stop telling us stuff that isn't true. I
hmm
gave the we talked about a little bit on the show. It's like if you have kids and you tell them you're gonna go to Disney World, and every year you keep pushing it off, pushing it
hmm
off. You know what I mean? Eventually, like those kids are
Yep.
like, yeah, whatever. And
Yeah.
they've got loyal fans still, and
hmm
they're pushing them away by doing things like this.
Yeah, seriously, that is the most irritating thing, is because these things are going to happen.
Yeah,
Not it's never going to go as smoothly as you want it to go. Things are going to happen, but when you keep announcing stuff and you keep, I, I don't know if it's the new social media environment and whatnot, that you always have to be putting something out there, keeping people talking, making sure there's engagement. But honestly, it pisses me off. I
yeah.
would rather just don't say anything until it's going forward. If they were in filming, you know, actually working on something, putting something on film, and the date got pushed, then okay, you are trying to advance something. But right now, it's just they have noticed they're not making a decision. That's what it seems to me, is they're not.
Yeah. Everyone's afraid to make the choice. Everyone's afraid to
Yeah,
pull the trigger because they don't want to have another failure. But I mean, and
but
that's
it's
another thing
hard to
too.
say. It's hard to say that any of these things were failures, though. They made
I yeah.
$1 billion.
No, yeah, no, you're right. But everyone's so afraid because, like, they don't want another acolyte situation,
Yeah,
which I think that got completely blown out of proportion. But
yeah,
uh,
yeah.
you know, in our job, in my job, everyone above me feels like they're afraid to pull the trigger sometimes. Like, our
hmm
principals wait for, and our principals do good. I'm not bashing them or anything like that. It's just the nature of the business where they don't want to make a decision, so they're waiting for the school board or our upper admin to make a decision. Upper
hmm
admin and board of education are waiting for state to make a decision. And the state's going
hmm
to pass the buck and push it back to all the schools. And it's like everyone's afraid to make the decision,
Yep,
and
and
they
nothing
just
moves forward.
yeah, and and that's one thing I hope Filoni and Favreau they don't seem like they're afraid to make decisions. So um, yeah, PR for Skeleton Crew has been pretty strong and steady, and they should have done that with Acolyte. Yeah,
Yeah.
I think they gave us too much with the Acolyte. Like we talked about a little bit on the show before. I think last week too, but like we're getting all these little bits. Like today we got an 11-minute trailer of the directors talking, and then we got another real short clip on Jod Nawood. Oh, it flowed that time. See, you just got to say it a few times, and things
Yep.
make sense. First, I was like, man, that was going to be hard to say, but
Yeah.
yeah, and I love everything I'm seeing. Neil is like a rock star right now, a
hmm
little elephant boy. So maybe Neil is the hero we're looking for.
Maybe
You'll
he
save
could
from
be. He could be long lived enough that he could be the
yeah,
next star.
no one knows what the hell he is yet. So elephantine. So that's all we know about him. But yeah, so yeah, when it's the story craft. Yeah, I know, we know we're
We're
long
getting
winded.
there.
So so yeah, so Mike had the idea that we write the new trilogy or map it
Or
out a little bit.
at
I don't
least
think
outline it. Yeah.
outline it a little bit, right? So I don't
Throw
think
some
that
things against the wall and see what sticks. Yeah.
yeah. So all right. First off, what do you call a trilogy after the sequel trilogy?
The new trilogy, I
The
suppose,
new trilogy?
until it's not the new trilogy. I don't know.
Yeah.
I
I
mean,
mean, is it okay? So we got to decide this first, too.
mhm,
Is this a continuation of the Skywalker saga? Or are we like, I mean, with Rey in it, it kind of has to be because
yeah.
unless she's not the main character of our story.
Well,
But
that's the
Mike and
thing.
I have
I
not really talked about any of this stuff yet. So we're
no.
just going to kind of, and then you
Mhm.
guys chime in too. And, if you're listening to this later, let us know what you think.
I mean, to me, you you almost have to, like we just been talking about for the past 20 minutes, is make Ray the star, because she is your only known commodity that's going to link this with the previous movies. And if we're talking about the continuation of the trilogies and not just the Star Wars story, we're talking about Star Wars, the trilogy after trilogy after trilogy. In my opinion, there has to be some link between each movie. So, I mean, I would like to write something that goes off in a new direction, but I do think that you have to somehow link it. You have to at least start off with, Ray and whoever else from those movies would be willing to come back and help drive the story. But what do you say, Jimmy?
Yeah, I think it has to start with Ray. I don't know how you do it because I do think I think the Forbes article was not like 100%, yeah, but I feel like they they explored the Force era. I like that, Tahu. I like that. um, but yeah, I mean, I think it has to start with Rey in some format. Either
Mhm,
she's the wise Jedi master who is teaching new kids, and then the
mhm,
adventure starts there, and it gets away from her, and so do the characters, and then she comes into
mhm.
it later, or she's dealing with her own stuff. We could have a couple different stories going on, but yeah, I think that Rey starts out as um, our main character. I would say.
Yeah, yeah, and that's kind of where I was going too. And I mean, the thing is, and you're thinking about, like, the brass at Disney is not going to make they're not going to go forward without Ray being the driver, I wouldn't think. I think they're going to think on the same lines, that you've got to have that connective tissue. But for me, like, the other thing is, you almost have to give Ray her movie or her trilogy just to flesh out her story. We had the beginnings of her story, like, Obi-Wan and Anakin got the whole Clone Wars series to
Mhm.
flesh out their thing. And you know what I mean? Like, they've all been able to, develop. Whereas Ray, her story hasn't been told yet, and she's not old enough yet that you can't do like a Luke Skywalker appearance in the new trilogy. You know what I mean? She's not.
Yeah, she's not that
sh-
popular.
Yeah, she's not the old Ray. Like, sitting in a rocking chair reminiscing about the old days. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
She's still young and vibrant, and you have to give her that opportunity to. You have to, I
and
think.
there's a lot of story there because I mean,
Oh yeah.
she's how are we guiding her? Are we guiding her with Force Ghost? Are we guiding her with new knowledge that she's found? I mean, there's Jedi temples everywhere. There's
Mhm.
why not start in something like that? And that that starts our story. Like I can
Yeah.
see. I don't know why I had this weird idea. Just there's Igarians, the slavers.
Hmm.
I just picture this opening scene of like this slave market on this planet, and like Zygarrians are whipping people and things like that, and then she just kind of out of nowhere just pops out, and she has a couple young like Jedi Padawans with her, and they just kind of like going through and just like that's the opening scene. It doesn't even have to
Yeah.
really drive the story forward, but something could happen. Just something like that that really just shows off that she has really kind of leveled up to
Hmm.
the point, and then you establish without even having to say anything, you've established she's the new Jedi Master.
Yeah.
She's teaching young kids, and
Hmm.
you can tell right from that first 5 to 10 minutes of
Yeah.
new
And it,
movie that
yeah.
she has started training kids. We don't know if reluctantly or not.
Right.
That stuff can all get fleshed out, but
Hmm. But we
I,
start with
I
action.
yeah,
Yeah.
I think so. Of course, it has to
Yeah.
be a ship, and then cut to a because that would get us fired
Yeah.
immediately. So
Well, that's the other thing. Like, what's like you had said about maybe a search for knowledge, and that's kind of the way I was looking at. I really wanted to see about. I mean, my question was, can you have a Star Wars the big, without a big galactic enemy? Is it really Star Wars if there isn't a struggle between one governmental faction against another governmental faction, without stormtroopers or without, battle droids or something like that, without those touchstones, those touch points? Can you really have a different story? Because, I mean, to me, we've told that story over and over again. And I kind of wanted to go in a different direction. I kind of wanted to go where, the new Jedi Order is established and they're trying to pick up the pieces. They're trying to find all that lost knowledge and all, recover the Jedi archives and things like that, going searching almost like an Indiana Jones, searching for relics and, things like that to try to build the knowledge base, recover everything that they can from, the previous generations and, find some crazy lost power that, you know,
And
that's
then
the
set
direction I would
something
want to
loose
go
with
in.
that.
But I don't know, like I said, I don't know if you can do that. I mean, it's
I
an
think you
interesting,
can.
it's interesting, but is it a Star Wars then? You know what I mean?
Well, I think that like I think you could set up. I think you could do this. I think that you do what you say, right?
Hmm.
So they're on this journey, and it worked beautifully in the last High Republic book. And I cannot believe the Tears of the Nameless, right? Yeah, Tears of the Nameless. It is an Indiana Jones adventure.
Yeah.
You got Doctor Afra out there too. Could always pull her into this if she's still kicking. But you could easily do this and have a minor, you could have, because I mean, we had to talk about the bad guy too. You could have like we still have the acolytes of the beyond and all these other people that could be kind of chasing after, or something could have happened in the time period between when we left Ray and when we find her, and
Hmm.
maybe she had a student who's kind of chasing after her, that's mad at her or something, like it's kind of fallen to the dark side, or there's all these relics, and Ray's not going to be experienced enough not to know what's the dark side tricking her.
Hmm.
And we could set off, the first movie could have a smaller skirmish, but it could set off the next two films. Like it could build, I think. And it doesn't even
Hmm.
necessarily have to build to like this galactic ending. It could
Yeah.
be like that planet's going to end or that group of people. But I do think if it's not a one-off, that you're going to have to build this story, and it's going to have to build momentum and get bigger and bigger as we go.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
I mean, absolutely right. In a trilogy, you have to have, you got to do it better than what they did the sequel trilogies, and you got to have
I
a
think you
plan.
need
Yeah, you got to
three
plan out three
separate
movies in a row, and
You need
like you said,
three separate movies that could be
mhm,
shown by themselves, but with a through line,
yes,
things that set up, So I guess we got to kind of figure that stuff out,
yeah.
what we want.
Well, I
So
mean, like the search for artifacts and stuff like that. Like we got into, it could, I mean, it could certainly go from one thing to another. You find something that gives you a certain amount of power, but then that just leads on to something that, oh, this is bigger and this is better, to all the way up to something that, maybe has the power kind of like a Death Star, or, to annihilate a
another Death
planet.
Star.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I
I
mean,
like the blight that
mm,
is in the High Republic right now. I don't want to rip
mhm,
off their idea, but um uh something like maybe you hold it to one planet and it could be planet ending. Like Marvel was beforehand, it was Earth ending, and now they've had to ramp it up to universe and
yeah,
multiverse,
mhm,
everything else. But here, what was crafting? Oh, it's Tierra. I have to say one idea: crime syndicates find old relic that has ability to take away. Ooh,
mm.
oh, I like that.
Yeah, that
Running
goes.
another galaxy like Ahsoka and a planet, and that world is being dominated by an Empire S group. Yeah, you could just
Yeah,
kind of like shift the.
yeah, shift it to a completely another galaxy.
Then you could just rewrite how things work if you wanted to. That'd be pretty cool.
Mhm.
So, yeah, I like those too. I
Yeah,
think
the
we need
thing.
an artifact. So I think
Mhm.
we need an artifact. So, all right. So Ray is our main character. Is Ray leading? Is Ray leading? So we're gonna do episode 10 right now. Episode 10.
Mhm.
This might take an episode or two, folks, because like I said, Mike and I are not trying not to talk about this outside of being on here. We might have to, but so Rey and crew and Padawans.
Yeah. I mean, maybe not necessarily maybe Padawans, and she's got a. I like the idea of her. She has two excellent students. Two of her earlier students that are maybe
Broom
more
Boy.
advanced by now. Broom
Broom
Boy,
Boy's got to be one of them, right?
yeah, and and a female. You got to have a female as well,
Ooh,
and
a love. This is
maybe
the sheer love triangle that I saw in your notes.
that's what I'm thinking. Maybe the male and female Jedi are getting a little closer than maybe Jedi should, and
Elzar, Avar, watch yourselves.
maybe the male Jedi has some dark side tendencies, and as they're searching for these artifacts, he's finding things that maybe leading him a little astray. You know what I'm saying?
Almost like Ezra with the holocron.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Whoops. I don't know how to type.
And at some point, they got to make a choice. And maybe the male Jedi, maybe Broom Boy doesn't make such great choices.
I'm gonna make her a Twilight because I think they're fun. The girl,
Yeah.
Because everyone loves everyone. So Twilight girl and Padawans. We'll have a couple youngsters because you got to throw that
for sure. Yeah, you got to have the quirky one. Kind of a comic relief sort of character. You got to have the straight laced, always play by the rules kind of character. Cover all the bases.
All right, so we got Rey, Broom Boy, and Twilight Girl, and Padawans are searching for Jedi artifacts. Well, that sounds weird coming out of my mouth right now. I have been up to 440, so you'll have to excuse if I get a little dipsy. But I want to try to incorporate Tiara's ideas into this as well. Does the artifact take them? Is it like one of those balls that has like the map to Peridia, or is it going to be like they find something, or I like this idea of a crime syndicate getting something.
Maybe they're competing against the crime syndicate. They're kind of, both run along parallel tracks, trying to find these things. And is the crime syndicate going to get the next clue before the Jedi get the next clue?
All right. We have to come up with a clever name for TR. If you're still there, I need a clever name for your crime syndicate. This is your idea, so I need it. And I can't spell syndicate, apparently. Oh, I did spell it. Nope, no, I didn't. So there it is. Thank you. Crime syndicates equals, and then we'll put here following same breadcrumbs for Jedi or Sith. I guess that would be a Sith artifact, really. Okay. The Kitten Clan. Damn it, Tiara. What are you talking about here? The Kitten Clan? Or you got this great idea and you're going to come out with a Kitten Clan.
Listen, my kitten was acting like a maniac today. So, the Kitten Clan could be kind of crazy.
All right. Dad Vader says hello there. Dad Vader, we're writing the next Star Wars trilogy, and we need a name for a fierce crime syndicate not involving cute little kittens. And I got the death symbol from TR. So, but
well, I was thinking about
something with ravens, since we hate the ravens.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, see, I like this idea, bro. I think that they have to change some of these rules.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that, they don't have this knowledge base anymore.
Yeah.
So they're going to have to learn, and they're either going to, because we were talking about this in our show this weekend about, Elzar and Avar, and is this going to be where this, super attachment role comes into play? Like, because they always talked about like these attachments, and then where is this going to go?
Yeah, and I really like the idea of exploring that with these two characters too, because like I said, we've definitely seen, in the Filoniverse, we've seen, especially in the video game, you see Kanan and you see Cal formulating, making relationships and making a go of it. I mean, Kanan is an ideal Jedi, and he had a I guess they weren't married, but he had a kid. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
that he was able to maintain a relationship and still be a stellar Jedi. Cal, Cal's touched the dark side a bit, and he's got his relationship. So maybe we explore that idea a little bit more with these two, because my dogs are going crazy.
I hear they
But
love it. They want to be in the
explore
movie.
yeah, you explore that idea between these two, and maybe maybe it does lead to the dark side. So they want to be a little bit more liberal with their rules and everything like that, but maybe this points to the reason why you can't. I don't know.
Yeah, I like it. So Tiara saying something about unkindness is what a flock of ravens is called, which makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Every time those ravens get on the football field, they are unkind. We made also someone cast Mike's dog in his ice. So I'm saying they are very lovable, and they'll lick your faces if you're sitting on his couch trying to have a beverage. So.
They're not very trainable though, so they're not going to work well on camera. But filling out characters too, I on the Jedi side, I definitely think you need to add a like a bookish, like a nerd sort of bookish character that is really delving into finding some arcane knowledge and whatnot that helping the Jedi, find the clues and lead them down the path towards this.
So not necessarily a Jedi, just someone like.
Well, I like. You got to have a crew, right?
Beaumont Kin.
Yeah, I mean, we had last week. We did our draft. You got to have a crew, right? You got to have your pilot guy. You got to have your muscle. You got to have. So you got to have the. As we're filling out characters, you got to have the bookish one that.
What about Beaumont Kin? He would still be around. He's the guy who says, he turns, somehow Palpatine returns with, whatever Sith magic or whatever. He's the guy who is like in the I think it's in Shadows of the Sith. I think he's in that doing our archaeology. So let's make it him. So there's another character. Plus we all like Dominic Monaghan. So we'll put Beaumont Kin in this.
And that's one of those. Yeah, that's one of those that most people won't recognize, but for those that know, they know.
Knowledge experts. Knowledge guy. That's his official title. Knowledge guy. So it would make sense too, because he would have some of this stuff. He would know some of the sites, and he'd be able to help her out. It'd kind of be like Skywalker and Santeca, at the beginning of The Force Awakens. Santeca, that relationship is kind of hashed out in that book, Shadows of the Sith. I apologize, folks. Again, my brain is a little cloudy. Oh, Chris Kemshaw should play. Yeah, Chris just wrote that book. I had not read it yet. It's like a archival. It's like a history book on the Empire, if it was real. I really want to read it. I have it sitting on my mantle. It's just it's going to have to take a burner for a while, but that'd be pretty cool. All right, so we got him leading her. He doesn't even necessarily have to be with them. He could just kind of be there.
Just filling out characters. You
got the Millennium Falcon. Yeah, I mean that's how they're getting around.
Yeah, for sure.
So does that mean Chewie? Is Chewie back on Kashyyyk, just chilling for a while?
Yeah, I would say you want to save Chewie for a special appearance down the line. I don't think you want to make him one of the main characters. You want him at some point to pop up. I can't hear you.
Genji.
Oh, yes. Yes, Genji would be great.
Give away the ending, Mike. I was whispering so no one could hear me.
I'm not good at that.
Oh, man. All right, equals ride. All right, so we're gonna save. We'll save. I'm gonna put a note down here. We're saving Chewie. Saving Chewie and Gunji and maybe others for help.
Oh, so as you were talking about the Millennium Falcon there too, this is a question I had. So,
Jason.
I want to talk about technology. You know what I mean? So the Millennium Falcon at this point has got to be 100 years old.
Years old.
Yeah.
A millennium old.
how does technology change within this, world? Because Jedi's have been fighting with lightsabers since how long? You know what I mean? For as long as for 1,000 years, more than 1,000 years, whatever the case may be. You
Yeah.
got blaster technology. You got these spaceships that, like you said, the Millennium Falcons are at least 100 years old. We've seen some advancement with some of the different fighters and stuff like that. The modern TIE fighter and some changes to the X-wing and this and that. The progression from the Clone Wars to um, normal time. But how do you deal with the change in technologies in this, or do you? Does it stay just kind of static? Everything kind of there's no new grand technology like.
Well, I mean, there was tracking involved in hyperspace tracking involved in, excuse me, in The Last Jedi. So that
Mhm.
was advancements. And you've had, like, if you look at the ships from the prequels, they looked more advanced than the ships that we have in the original trilogy and sequels. I mean, we could kind of blend those together. You could
Mhm.
have our unkindness crime syndicate. Um, Having some new technology or something, like
Yeah.
it could be like the mod gang, but not sucky from Book of Boba Fett. They can move a little faster than grandmas on a rascal.
Yeah. Because they do go into technology a bit in the um, the books.
The High Republic stuff?
Yes, the High Republic. Jeez,
Man.
but you know what I'm saying? Like when they put up the storm wall, they have to go back to old technology to figure out a way through the storm wall. You know what I mean? So there's definitely some change in technology within those books. You know what I mean? So there's definitely maybe some technological things that we can exploit going forward
Yeah,
in these books too.
I'll be all right. Good question. When in the TL does this happen? In the TL? The TLJ, The Last
Timeline,
Jedi?
timeline.
Oh,
When in the
timeline.
timeline does this happen?
Oh, well, this is gonna be we decided what, like,
10 years after.
yeah, like 10 years after the end of The Rise of Skywalker. So she
Yeah,
has time to have established the
we're gonna let Ray play her age.
yeah, Broom Boy and yet to be named Twilight Jedi
They should be
are
in their 20s.
will be in their 20s or so. You've got some Padawans they've gathered up. Beaumont Kin's probably going to be a little bit older at this point because he is human. And so, he maybe he doesn't go out on the adventures with them, but he has the information. And he's always like in an archive or they're setting up an
Mhm.
archive kind of thing.
Yeah.
Orion Syndicate, let's steal that back from Star Trek. Star Trek, Orion Hunters, bounty hunters. Yeah, we could have an Orion group of bounty hunters, maybe somewhere coming up. So I like that too. But yeah. I mean, I'm not opposed to like a VCX 100, a ghost ship or something
Mhm.
brand new. I don't love. Oh God, we're gonna lose people. I mean, we only have 4 people watching, but I'm not a huge like Razor Crest guy. Like, I think it's fine, but I don't think it's like the coolest ship ever. I'd rather have the
It's pretty
Ghost.
cool.
I'd rather have the Ghost.
Yeah, I'd probably rather have the Ghost too, honestly.
So,
Yeah.
but yeah, I don't know. Ship. I mean, she has the Falcon. Maybe it's falling
Yeah.
apart. Ooh, you know how like in Star Trek, speaking of Star Trek, you know how like the Enterprise always gets blowed up and then
Mhm.
it gets rebuilt and it's bigger and
Mhm.
it's badder.
Yeah.
What if
Mhm.
maybe towards the end of
Millennium
this
Falcon
movie,
Mark II.
yeah, basically, right? Like they kind of rebuild in that structure, but there can be some. Now, I would not want to be the person that has to design this thing because
No.
that would be more pressure than deciding what Grogu sounds like when he finally speaks. But um,
Yeah.
we need some more creative people for that decision. But I could
Yeah.
say, but guys, the ship we got to bring back is a Sith infiltrator.
Mhm.
Yeah,
It's pretty
that's
cool.
yeah, small ship. Yep. That's true. Where did it go? Maybe it had a self-destruct. Larger version of Luthen ship. That'd be sweet. Because he did. That's a good point on the technology, T. He had some crazy stuff in that. I mean, it was like what, a 5-second clip of him going ape on that group of Imperials. But I mean, it was like, whoa, this thing is like tricked out like Knight Rider in space. So Death Star.
Nice version.
The Light Star.
Instead of destroying a planet, it just greens it, you know.
It just greens it.
You can go to a desert planet and just turn it green.
Yeah. Oh man. Yeah. What do they call that? Oh my gosh. Yeah, you've seen that.
Terraforming.
Yeah, terraforming. Thank you. I couldn't think of
They
the
just
word.
go around the galaxy terraforming.
Yeah.
The Jedi are a bunch of hippies.
Space doing acrobatics and shit. Yeah, it definitely was. It was nuts. I can't wait because once Skeleton Crew's over, I'm going to binge. That show. I haven't watched it in a while.
Well, I told you before. I don't go back and rewatch things a lot, unless it's on, just reruns on basic cable or whatever. I usually just look for a new show and watch something else. I don't. But you're right. That may be a perfect example and a great time to go back and rewatch Andor, leading into Andor season 2.
Season 2. Yeah. I'm thinking about downloading it. If I haven't finished it, I'll probably download it on my. I think we're actually going to do. Our plan is to do a recap of that first season prior to us leaving for Japan. So
yeah,
hopefully I'll have time to do that. But
it's a good idea.
So I feel like we haven't gotten very far.
No, we haven't. But
writing movies hard.
We may have gotten farther than Disney.
Sick burn. And we're not even getting paid to do this, folks.
Nope.
But so far,
well, they were open to being paid.
Yeah, sign us up. Would it be worth it? Like, because half the world's going to hate whatever we do, but would it be worth it to make?
How big's the paycheck?
You get paid that much to be a writer. Do you know what I mean? Like, unless you're like super established.
Yeah.
Like, what's the amount of money you would need for half the world to hate you? Right now, 99% of the world doesn't know we exist.
Right. Honestly, I wouldn't care. I don't. I mean, in some ways it's a benefit, in some ways it's a detractor, but I don't really care what other people think about me. Sometimes it gets me in trouble, but other times it leads to a blissful life. So
just keeping our notes.
Yeah, I'll tell you, like, we brought up how I used to write in school all the time and stuff like that. And I was definitely on a track to be a creative, but it was never in the cards for me. I could never be a creative. I have ideas and stuff like that, but I got to know that there's a steady paycheck coming in. I can't live in a world where, I'm living by my creativity, because it just scares me.
We talked with Lydia King a little bit about that, and she's like, well, I'm a doctor too, so I don't have to worry about that side of things.
Yeah.
But then
the thing, I'm a mailman.
Yeah.
If I could find some time to write on the side, it might be all right. But so as you're typing there, I was thinking of some of the other thing. We talked about touch points. Different ways we could bring things together, and kind of give Easter eggs for the big, the true fans and stuff like that, and connective tissue and whatnot. But as we're talking about the archaeological side of things, people then looking for artifacts and things like that, and trying to find the hidden power within the Force and whatnot. There's all the other religions, all the other Force religions. And
I think we should bring some of those back too, so people can.
Yeah. I would love it if we delve into a bit of that, with the Night Sisters and some of the other witches and stuff like that. And maybe even Marin's still alive. An old Marin. Cal's dead. Maybe she's gone crazy and she lives as a hermit in a shack somewhere, and they have to go find Marin, and Marin deal with her craziness and get her stabilized, and get some knowledge from Marin.
You had that girl too that they're going to raise. I can't think of her name right now.
Oh yeah.
We have Groom Boy, and he's going to be. He might be.
Yeah.
He might. Yeah,
he's. He's third on the call sheet, Dad Vader.
Yeah.
He's up there.
So, but all right. First off, okay, so right now we got new trilogy notes. All right, we got Skywalker Saga episodes 2 through 12. We're just kind of scratching the surface, obviously, but we have it set 10 to 15 years after the rise of Skywalker. Rey is going to start out as our main character, but we're not opposed to pushing her out as the story goes and focusing on other people. But we'll get there. We're setting the groundwork, folks. This is obviously going to be more than one show. In episode 10, we got Rey, Broom Boy, and Twilight Girl. Rey's, the Jedi Master, Broom Boy, and Twilight Girl are going to be the number 2 and 3 in charge. We've got Padawans with them. And they also got Beaumont Kin, who's an older Beaumont Kin, but he's giving them knowledge and giving them things he's heard. And they're going to search stuff. Right now, they're flying around the Millennium Falcon, but we're not opposed to upgrading that bad boy in some way. And then we got the crime syndicate of the evil Ravens, the Unkindness. That's actually not bad, though, Unkindness, because I think, I like that. The more I say it, the Unkindness sounds cool and creepy.
Yeah.
I'm going to put that in there for now. The Unkindness. They'll be Ravens. Good bad guys. They do it well.
They can all have big black Raven tattoos across their face.
They're searching for this rumored artifact. How about that? Searching for the rumored artifact. Breadcrumbs for rumored Jedi Sith.
Yeah, maybe it's good. Maybe it's bad. Maybe it could lead to the destruction of the galaxy. Maybe it could save the galaxy.
Hope so. Jedi artifacts that can neutralize.
Maybe it just depends on what you bring to it.
What if it's a nameless? Oh my. Can neutralize force powers. We'll put force powers. And that's kind of, now people, before you freak out, and anyone who's listening to this that's a big Legends fan, we get it. Uzan Vong, they had some stuff like that. We're not recreating the wheel here, folks. We're trying to write a trilogy. It's never going to happen. So
if you remember what happened with The Force Awakens, how great was it? It was just rehashing the old, you sprinkle in a little bit of the new, but you rehash the old and everybody's happy. So you got to recycle some things.
We are saving Chewie for later. He's probably going to bring Gungi with him. People are not going to know who the hell that is, but it'll be all right. We'll know.
Gungi could factor in big time in episode 2 and 3.
Yeah, for sure. I think I would like to see more Wookiees involved, but let me see.
Can't go wrong with more Wookiees.
What we got here? Marion could be the new Mother Talzin. Yeah, she could be. The sword can be like pulled out of thin air, so that's cool.
Yeah.
Right. And the true Sith Lord in the shadows, Jar Jar. No, damn it. Jar Jar Binks will not be in this movie. He's dead.
He's dead.
Not dead. Actually, they're going to visit his grave, so that way we know he's gone. Now, I'm not saying we can't bring on my best in to play another character.
Right.
I would love to have him.
It's not going to be Jar Jar.
I want him and Sam Witwer in this. All right. But it's not going to be Jar Jar. I've had enough of those Gungans. That's the connection to Force when near. Yeah. So something. Yeah. I mean, it's not going to be able to pause on it. It's just going to be able to kind of like what the Nameless do when it severs the Force from the Jedi. Spoiler alert if you haven't read the High Republic. Their things are scary as heck. Ooh, Dad Vader getting spicy. He loves seeing what was the wife, Lumpy or something like that?
So. We have to keep this PG. I don't know.
The fur will be flying, baby. So they're heading to a planet. What's the planet's name going to be? I'm looking for clues.
Oh, man.
Things up.
Is it a jungle planet? Is it a desert planet?
What kind of planet it's going to be? Let's do jungly planet, so it can have like an ancient civilization that's like long gone. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, you kind of have to go that route. I mean, either the desert reclaimed it or the jungle reclaimed it, or you got to go one of those two ways. I think
jungle planet overgrown ancient civilization. Long gone. All right, so we got Jungle Planet, overgrown ancient civilization, long gone.
Dog's excited again.
They're pumped. They like this idea.
They like it.
So, yeah, I like this idea. I'm fired up. So, can we have my opening scene though? Can I ask for that? Can I
Yeah,
ask?
yeah, for sure. I mean, you have to have an action scene like that to draw you right in like that. And like you said, it covers so much, so you don't have to go into so much backstory. You don't have to go into a training montage of Rey recruiting Padawans and training Padawans and stuff like that. It's obvious they're in there kicking butt, and you have some younger ones that make some mistakes during the battle, but nobody gets killed in this battle. Not on the good side, anyways.
Yeah.
A lot of bad guys get killed, but the good side, they all manage. But it tells a tale and draws you right in.
Oh no. Dad Vader. The Frog Lady home planet dried up, right? Oh no. No, wait. Oh yeah, crafting on Ellen's not loving the love scene.
Yeah.
So, but that means we can bring back Ross Sandbridge back. We could do some people that we know. We'll get them back in Star Wars. So good times. So we got that.
Yeah.
So our opening scene, if you've missed it, is going to be in this the Zygerians, if you don't remember them from the Clone Wars, and they were in Bad Batch, if I recall.
Mm-hmm.
They reestablished their slave trade, and it's going to open up on a big scene. It's going to be terrible. The bad things are happening to people, are being, animals and aliens and things like that are being, shipped off or sold or something. And then all of a sudden it's going to be a Robin Hood type where everyone pulls off their capes and lightsabers are blazing and all hell's going to break loose. And then, like Mike said, like we said, it's going to establish the fact that Rey's way more powerful, and she's got Padawans and she's got Jedi Knights working for her, and it shows a movement of time. I think, again, I just think this is the easiest way to say this is where we're at. We don't need flashbacks or anything. So then they could be there looking for a clue or something. I don't know. Maybe they find the book, or they find something that Beaumont needs, and he finds
or there. So the underworld always works together. We have, we're talking about an underworld gang, and we are talking about slavers. There's going to be some connection there. Maybe they, just someone that is working with the slavers, they capture them or something, something along those lines. But yeah,
Matt Latner for sure needs to come in. Be weird hearing him if he uses his Anakin voice, but yeah. Yeah, so got that connection. Maybe that's when they find out that they're being followed, like maybe they get half of what they need, and that's
something. Yeah, maybe
pushes the story.
Yeah, they capture this guy, and he's got some shred of a Jedi archive or something like that, and
holocron or something, maybe.
Yeah, something
Everyone
that
else
leads
can use
them.
holocrons except for Jedi, so it might have to just be a book or a map or something.
Something like that. Yeah.
All right, I like it. I like it. I feel like we're on to something here.
I think so.
Disney.
I feel like the phone's going to be ringing.
No, that Dave Filoni, you're watching right now, sir. I will leave my job and I will come work with you. We're all from Pennsylvania. We're all Steelers fans.
Yeah.
Like Dave. Mike's a big
huge Penguins fan right here.
Huge Penguins fan. We'll watch Pirates baseball if that gets us the job.
Yeah.
But
I watch it. It's hard to watch.
Sad. I see that they took out a billboard to sell the team or something like that.
Yeah.
So, but anyways,
not going to work. But
just letting Dave know when he watches this later.
Yeah,
that we have a lot of stuff.
We are
actually
Pittsburgh proud.
Edinburgh, right?
Yes, I do. Yeah.
So, get him back. Oh no,
I'm not bringing him. Lost tonight.
Mace would be like 9,000 years old.
Yeah.
All right, I think we have a good start.
We have a good start. We didn't even finish the first movie, but we have a
We
good
haven't finished
start.
the first movie. But so, like I said, we're just kind of recapping. We're bringing some stuff in. TR gave us the unkindness crime syndicate, bunch of raven looking a-holes working with the Zygerians.
Tahoe's a Steelers fan too.
Yeah. Tahoo! So we got that. We got this working together. We got our opening scene. It's going to set the tone. We need for next time we do this, which maybe it's next week. Who knows? Unless some news comes out, we need we need a name of the planet. We probably need to decide, like the first third of the movie. You know what the driving force is. What the I mean, we know why they're rape, because like I feel like Jedi aren't a big threat right now in this time period.
Yeah,
So
they can't be. It's just it's got to be almost on one planet in one temple and no more than a dozen or so.
yeah, so we'll get to that later. Heading to a jungle planet, we need to come up with a fun planet name. We need the artifact, what it's going to be, how they're going to find it. They're going to get a cool dagger. No, we're not doing that.
There's other better movie tropes. We'll find one.
We'll do the thing from the Goonies, since we're all ambling now on the little piece. We'll figure something out. Yeah. But we need everyone thinking.
Yes.
Because
Jimmy's been up since 4 o'clock in the morning, and we got to get off here.
I got to get up 4 o'clock in the morning tomorrow. So I got
Let's
Star Wars.
Woo!
Mike share. Mike, we are writing the new Star Wars trilogy. We have not gotten very far, but we're on to a hot opening.
And we believe we're farther along than Disney.
We do believe we're further along than Disney. And we're working in, we're going to try to work in the Wookiee Boogie for Dad Vader, but that cannot come until later.
It could be a deleted scene.
Deleted scene, some Wookiee love.
Director's cut, whatever,
So, but
yeah, earlier I said about not bothering following Jimmy and I on any of the socials because we're boring. But if you want to get on our Instagrams and whatnot, or Blue Sky or Facebook, any of those good things, if you want to send us a message, we'll take any information, any input you guys want to put towards this movie trilogy. Hit us up. Let us know what you think. Let us know what you want to see. We'll wrap this all up. Try to at least maybe next week, if nothing else big comes up, we'll try to put a button on episode 1. We'll try to get it done. So let us know what you think, what you want to see. Name of the planet, all that good stuff. Let us know. And we'll be back here again next Tuesday. We'll try to finish episode 10.
We're going to finish episode 10. I think episode 10 sets up 11 and 12.
Yeah. Because that's the thing. We have a plan. We're going to go with the plan.
We have a plan, folks.
It's not going to be a one-off, and we'll see what happens. We're going to write the whole trilogy.
Whatever they find at the end of episode 10 is going to send Broom Boy, who we need to name, off the deep end. Plus, he's going to have his heart broken, and nothing drives a teenage boy to doing stupid things like heartbreaking a girl. So
shortcut to the dark side.
I'm not speaking from any experience. So, but we will, we'll get there. I'm pretty pumped about this opening. I can't stop thinking about this opening.
Yeah, it's exciting. It's fun.
It's going to be good. And then we got some things to figure out. So again, let's see what we got. Tahu says, "Go U.S. men's Eagles in Spain this weekend." 573. All right. He's got some rugby happening. One of the bad guys got to kill a Jedi and discover the Air Force. Oh, dang!
Yeah.
What if one of the members of the Unkindness ends up being like a Force sensitive dude? And oof, man, that's rough. We have some stakes in it. People are dying right off the bat too.
Yeah.
Like it.
Yeah. Well, that's the
maybe
thing.
Maybe we have a third older Jedi that gets lit up.
Maybe.
Something.
Yeah, if we think on it enough, I'm sure there's somebody out there that we could sacrifice. But yeah, just on that note too, I know we want to get off here, but there has to be an older Sith or Sith adjacent or somebody. If Broom Boy is going to turn to the dark side, there's got to be someone dragging him in. You know what I mean?
Oh,
There's
yeah.
got to be somebody with a little more experience that's dragging him in. No, I mean, we have the artifacts and things like that he might,
That's right.
touch the wrong side of, but yeah, there's got to be. It's fun.
That's great. Yeah, there's a ton of stuff I think because we could do like a moment thing where they've got something possessed because like I know like in the Vader comics, he's got that helmet that has that Sith Lord like in it, and it's like telling
Yeah.
him stories and things,
hmm
and there was in Sith, and I haven't finished it yet. I can't seem to get through that book, but that one, oh yeah, here we go. See, this is what we were thinking too, Mike. Is that what if Balin Skull set something off and it
Yeah.
takes a
Yeah.
while to get back to
hmm
Dathomir? And you could also too, whatever happens with those Dathomir witches, I mean, they're gonna bring something from Dathomir, something old and something ancient is
Yeah.
coming back to life.
Yep.
So we have some
Yeah.
stuff we can play with here.
Yeah.
So
Those are two other things I had in my notes. Is Balin Skull and his quest, and get attaching that to it too, and even like I said, delving into the Force gods. You know what I mean? Maybe maybe we don't even need another dark side user, or
be the sun.
maybe it's just the Force gods get involved somehow, and the sun's dragging Broom Boy along. So
Nice.
yeah,
Man, this is getting dark.
so many directions we can go with this.
We got it. We'll get organized, folks. We're gonna need your help though.
Mm-hmm.
Start thinking about some of these ideas, and we will start driving forward with it. And we're gonna finish episode 1. Oh, hell to the yeah!
Oh,
Already up in your
you
store?
you've been waiting
Or
for this, Jimmy. For how
this is
long? You've
like,
been waiting for this.
oh my gosh, yeah. Well, we're gonna have a little Winnebago symbol
Yeah.
or something where we break for nobody on it, or maybe a jar of jam, strawberry. I don't know. Maybe maybe one of the plans could be like the Schwartz. So
Well, let's stick to the
PR,
big ideas right now.
you want to give, you want to show me anything via the Instagram. I'm not opposed to seeing what it looks like if, you know,
Yeah.
since I was the inspiration and the driving force behind this happening. I mean, harassment's a driving force, isn't it? I think
Yeah.
so.
Yeah.
Um,
Is it going to be ready for Christmas?
oh, I want to do that, Dad Vader. I've been talking about it. Um, but I'm not tall enough. Like that
Eh,
dude was like towering.
what's it matter?
So, but yeah. All right.
It's all about presence, Jimmy. You don't have to be 6'2". You just have to have the presence.
All right. I'll get some lifts. Put in my boots. So, all right. I'm ready to get out of here, folks. Again,
Yes.
this has been a lot of fun. I know, we've got a lot of creative people
Love
on
all
here.
the interaction tonight. This was great.
Join us again next week, 8:00. Let's talk some more Star Wars. Let's hash this out.
Yep.
I got
Listen, we
these
got to
notes.
get it done next week, because the week after, you know what the week after is, Jimmy.
Oh gosh, yeah, we do.
It is
Holy
that
crap, that's
close.
already.
Yeah. We got
Wow.
one
All
more
right.
Jedi in the Mailman story until this turns into after show recaps, baby.
Yes, let's go.
Woo!
All right. Thank you guys, everyone over on Instagram.
Thank
Sorry I
you all
wasn't
so much.
able to. We had a bunch of people over there tuning in for a while. But guys, thank you. This has been a lot of fun. I'm pretty exhausted, but man, this has kind of got me jazzed, and I probably
Yeah.
won't be able to fall asleep for a while now. So thanks for that. But
The
anyways,
ideas will be running.
yeah, ideas will start clicking, and I'll be like, ugh. Oh, I think T just sent me. I just got 5 photos from Crafting on Ilum.
Ooh,
So now I'm not going to be able to sleep.
you got to share
Yes,
those with
I will.
me.
May the force be with you as well, sir.
Yes.
Have a great day. I know your day's just starting, buddy. Have a good one. And we will see you guys all later. And for Mike and I, and for all of you guys, because you helped out a ton, we have spoken. We'll see you guys next week.
Peace.